and safe and taking prevention for this COVID-19. I am doing the same thing what you are doing in home. So let's start today a new chapter of math. That's called as the tangents and seconds to a circle. What is the name of the chapter? Tangents and seconds to a circle. So circle, everybody knows. In 9th class you already read about the circle. So there is a little bit idea what is a circle. But now two new things are attached, that is called tangents and seconds. We have to know what is this chapter, what is the meaning of this tangent and second. And circle, come to the introduction part of this chapter now. I am starting this introduction part with circle. You see, circle, first definition of mine is circle. There is introduction and these are called all synopsis. This synopsis you please write on your running notes. When I will explain on that time, you will be able to understand it and write it on your running notes for further reference. Now you see, that is called a circle. First one, the definition is, a circle is a set of points. What is a circle? It is a set of points in a plane which is equidistant from a fixed point. Which is equidistant from a fixed point. That means there is a fixed point and there are a set of points on this plane. This is a plane now. This is a plane. On this plane I took some points C. See, these are the points on the plane. Okay. And the distance, there is a fixed distance here. There is a fixed point here with and if you join the points to the fixed point, the distance will remain throughout same. The distance will remain throughout same. That is called as that is the definition of the circles. That means a circle, it is a closed curve. It is a closed curve. So definitely, it is a set of points. This is a set of points on a plane and which is equidistant from the fixed point. There is a fixed point inside the circle, and if you join the point on the plane to the fixed point, the distance came, the distance remained throughout same. Then that is called as a circle. So for that reason, this fixed point is called as the center of the circle and this fixed distance is called as the radius of the circle. I hope you understood it. So the fixed point, I wrote it here, you see, the fixed distance is called as the radius. What is the fixed distance? The fixed distance is called as the radius and the fixed point is called as the center. So this fixed distance, which is remaining throughout same, is called as the radius of the circle, which is same throughout from the fixed point to the point on the plane. And the center, this fixed point is called as the center of the circle. I hope you got an idea about the circle. Now come to the next point of the circle. Some things are involved in circle. There are a lot of parts of a circle. So let's know about those parts. The second one is the chord. It is a very, very important thing, chord. What is a chord? See now, the line segment joining any 2 points on a circle. Suppose you are taking here a point A, here a point B and joining this line. This is called as the chord. Chord is a line which is joining the circle at 2 distinct points. So the line segment joining any 2 points on a circle is called as the chord. So this is right now AB is called as the chord of a circle because it is joining 2 points. So now you see here there will be a lot of chords like this, and one chord will be there. Which will pass through the center. See, which will pass through the center and divide the circle into 2 equal halves. 2 equal halves of a circle is called a semicircle. So this diameter right now, it is the biggest chord which is dividing the circle into 2 semicircles. That is written out the line segment that joining any 2 points on a circle. Any 2 points on a circle passing through center. This is the most important line. Passing through center. So a line that is joining 2 points of a circle and it is passing through the center. See now, passing through the center is called as the biggest chord or the diameter of the circle. So the diameter of the circle is twice the radius. We can say 2 into radius. Look, this part is one radius, this part is another radius. So a diameter is always twice the radius, and radius is always half of the diameter. So now he said the line segment joining any 2 points on a circle passing through center is called as the biggest chord or diameter. That is the biggest chord. The biggest chord is called as the diameter, and the diameter is going to divide the circle into 2 semicircles, 2 equal parts. Other you will say, sir, what is this chord is doing which is not passing through the center? See now, it is dividing the circle into 2 things. One is a minor segment, this one, and another is a big one, that is major segment. So generally a chord divides the circle into 2 halves. One is called minor, another is called major. Major, minor segment, major segment. But diameter is dividing the circle into 2 equal segments. That is called as one segment is called as, each segment is called as the semicircle. That means the diameter is the biggest chord which is dividing the circle into 2 equal parts. That is the line segment joining any 2 points on a circle passing through the center is called as the biggest chord or the diameter. So what is the diameter? The biggest chord which is, or the chord which is passing through the center. Passing through the center. Others are only chords. So the biggest chord, the big one, is always passing through the center. That is called as diameter. It is the twice of the radius and dividing the circle into 2 halves. That is each part is called as a semicircle. I hope you understood. Now another important thing is there, that is called as arc. What is an arc? So what is an arc? See, now you see here it is A and Y. I took a figure for you. AY is called as a chord. It is a straight line joining 2 points in a circle. So it is dividing the circle into one minor segment and another major segment. So now you see this AXY. What is this part? AXY from here to my red mark here. What is this one is called as? This one is called as the arc of the circle. That means an arc is formed by the, an arc is formed by the chord of a circle. The arc is formed by the chord of a circle. Okay, and can be denoted, can be symbolized by this symbol. That is called as A. An arc can be named in 3 namings only. AXY arc. This is called as arc. So a part of the circle. Arc. What is arc? It is a part of a circle. So if the full circle is there, this is called as the part of a circle. And this is also called as a part of a circle. If I am taking another point Z here, I can write here AZY arc. This is the bigger arc. This is the bigger arc. And this is the smaller arc. This is the smaller one. This is the smaller one. So there is a big arc, that is AZY. AZY is called as the big arc, and it is the small arc that is called as AXY. I hope you understood about arc also. So what is arc? Arc is the part of a circle. It is the part of a circle. And what is chord? Chord is a line segment joining the any 2 points of a circle. And what is a circle? The circle is a set of points in a plane which is equidistant from a fixed point. So I cannot call, again I want to say you something here, I cannot call this figure as a circle. Why? Because there is no fixed point or no fixed distance here. So this is only a closed curve. This is only a closed curve, but this cannot be a circle. Why? Because the fixed point is not there and the fixed distance is not there. For that reason, this is only a full closed curve, but this is a circle. Understood now? I hope you understood this. Thank you. Now come to the next part of the conjunction seconds to a circle. The synopsis number 4. This is a very important synopsis I am giving to you. Students, please try to remember all of these points given in this 4th synopsis. I wrote here important points regarding the circle. In the circle, what you have already read in 9th class, some important points are there. You forgot it. Again, you have to remind it. See now, first one is the center of the circle doesn't belong to the circle. The center of the circle is not belonging to the circle. If I am taking a circle like this, I am explaining here. See now, the center is not belonging to the circle. It is inside the circle. So this is the points. These are called as on the circle. These are the points. They are called on the circle. So the center is not belonging to the circle points. Also the center not belonging to the circle. This is inside the circle. This point is inside the circle. This is inside the circle. So this point is not belonging to the circle. That means the center is not belonging to the circle. It is inside the circle. And all those points which are on the circle, those are the points that is called as on the circumference of the circle. That means that is on the circle. And the center is not belonging to those points. The center is inside. The first point. The center of the circle doesn't belong to the circle. The center, it never belongs to the circle. This is inside the circle. Now come to the second point. The perpendicular bisectors of two non-parallel chords. The perpendicular bisector of two non-parallel chords of a circle intersects at the center. If you will bisect them, they will intersect at the center and they will give you the center of the circle. If the center is not known, if the center of the circle is not known, see now what I am doing. I am not taking this fixed point. So here, what happened? I do not know what is the center. So what I did, I go for the perpendicular bisector of two non-parallel chords. Non-parallel chords. One chord may be like this and another chord may be like this. Okay. Now I am going for perpendicular bisector of this chord and perpendicular bisector of this chord. Where these two are joining, this is called as the center of the circle. Understood now? The second point is that one. The perpendicular bisector of two non-parallel chords. See now, this one is a chord and this one is a chord. Both are non-parallel to each other. They are not parallel to each other. So what you did, you bisect one chord and you bisect another chord, perpendicular bisector. And where they are meeting, that is called as the center of the circle. If you don't know the center of the circle, in this way also, you can able to find the center of the circle. What is that? The perpendicular bisectors of two non-parallel chords. Perpendicular bisectors of two non-parallel chords of the circle intersects at the center of the circle. So where they are intersecting, that is giving you the center of the circle. Easy. Understood. Now you see, next third point. There is one and only one circle passing through the three non-collinear points. So why can a circle be drawn? If you got three non-collinear points, now you have to understand what is collinear points and what is non-collinear points. See now, I am explaining you here what is collinear points and what is non-collinear points. See now, if three points are in a same straight line, 3 points, and you are joining them, these 3 points are set as collinear points. Collinear points if they are in same straight line. So in same straight line, they are not giving you any shape, any geometrical shape they are not giving instead of a straight line. So 3 collinear points are giving you a straight line only. But when the points are not in a same straight line, they are here and there, they are here and there. That means like this. If 3 points are like this, then what is 1, 2 and 3? Like this the points are there. What he is saying, there is one and only one circle passing through the 3 non-collinear points. If you will join the 3 non-collinear points on your free hand, then definitely you are going to get a circle. So these 3 non-collinear points A, B and C is giving a circle to you. That he is saying what? There is only one and only one circle. Only one circle is possible through 3 non-collinear points. So a circle can be named in 3 non-collinear points also. Okay. So there is one and only one circle passing through the 3 non-collinear points. Now I hope you understood what is non-collinear points and what is collinear points. So in 3 non-collinear points, giving you one circle. That means one circle is passing through 3 non-collinear points. Next, come to the next one. The circles having same radii. The circles having same radii. Radius plural is called as radii. Radius plural is radii. So more than one radius is called as radii. Suppose you are taking a circle of 4 cm here. Here a circle, the radius is 4 cm. 4 centimeter are, and another circle of radius 4 centimeter also are 4 centimeter. Then what he is saying, this point, the circles having same radii, the radius of the both the circles are same. That means the radii are same. Then we can say both the circles are congruent to each other. That means their shape and size both will be same. Congruent means shape and size are same. So definitely these two circles we can say them as congruent circles. Understood? Now come to the point, the angles in a semicircle. What is a semicircle? But the biggest chord, diameter, when divides the circle into, suppose I am extending this radius, then what happened? It became a diameter now. So now this is the diameter. Diameter is the biggest chord which is passing through the center and dividing the circle into two parts. So each part is called as semicircle. What he is saying to you? The angles in a semicircle is a right angle. If you do any angles in a semicircle, look at it and joining it, definitely this angle will be a right angle for you. Because I will say right angle for this is the circle, what? Axioms. So this is a 90 degree. The angles in a semicircle is 90 degree. If you draw another angle here, now you see this is also will give you 90 degree. Clear now? So the angles in a semicircles are right angle. I hope you understood this figure. Okay, this is the angles in a semicircle is a right angle. Okay. Now you see the angles in the same segment. Now come to the part segment. What is a segment? Segment means when a chord is drawn. Chord means it is joining the circle in two distinct points. So this is a circle and this is a chord. Clear? Now I am explaining this point. Angles in a same segment. Segment means here two segments are created. One is small one and another is a big one. See, this is the big one. Okay, so this is the major segment and this is called as the minor segment. Let's name it. This is called as minor segment and this is called as major segment. Okay, major segment. So what he is saying to you, see, the angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Same segment. That means I am not taking now minor segment. Understood? Now I am taking only the major segment. What is saying? The angles in the same segment. So the angles in the same segment you have to join like this. Then the angles will be created. Clear? Now see this angle and this angle. What is saying? This is called as the angles in the same segment. Now you understood? This is the major segment and I got two angles in the same segment. These all angles will be equal. That means these angles will be equal. These angles will be equal. Clear? Understood? So the angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Understood now? Like that. What is saying? The next one you see, the angles in the major segment is acute angle. See now, this is the major segment. What is the angle looking like? If you will put the protractor here and you will measure that, the 90 degree will be like this straight. The 90 degree will be like this. But it is this side, this ray is less than 90 degree. That means this angle is what? This angle is definitely acute angle, less than 90. This is also less than 90. He is saying the angles in the major segment is acute. These angles are acute angle now. And the angles in the minor segment. What is the minor segment? Let's draw the minor segment. Clear? Here is the minor segment. Here the part. I am just drawing here below. Clear? So this is the minor segment. Go for the angles. See now. Definitely this is a more than 90. This is definitely coming more than 90 degree. This is definitely coming more than 90 degree. So this is more than 90 degree. So definitely this is called as an obtuse angle. That is written here. In the minor segment the angles is obtuse and the major segment the angles are acute. Let's go through it once again. See now what I said. Important points regarding the circle. The center of the circle doesn't belong to the circle. The center is inside. It doesn't belong to the circle. That means it doesn't on the circle. The center is always inside the circle. The perpendicular bisector of two non-parallel chords. Perpendicular bisector of two non-parallel chords. Means the chords will not be parallel. Non-parallel chords it will bisect where they are meeting. If you don't know the center, they will give you the center of the circle. This is the point. There is one and only one circle passing through the three non-collinear points. If three non-collinear points are there, you can draw only one circle through them. And non-collinear points means the points which are not in a same straight line. Collinear points means the points which are in a same straight line. Collinear points never gives any steps, only straight line. But three non-collinear points will give you many steps like triangle, circle. Now it is the part of circle. Now you see, the circles having same radii are congruent. If a circle having radius 4 cm, another circle having radius 4 cm, both the circles are same in size and shape. So both are congruent. Now the angles in a semicircle is a right angle. In a semicircle means when the diameter was drawn, diameter is the biggest chord. It is dividing the circle into two semicircles. In each semicircle, the angles are 90 degree. If you draw an angle at semicircle, then it will give you 90 degree. I already explained you. Now the angles in the same segment of a circles are equal, same segment. So now we can call it as major segment, and this is as a minor segment. So major segment angles, if you take like this, the angles coming, they are equal to each other. And the angles in a major segment is acute. In major segment, the angles are acute angle, and the minor segment, the angles are obtuse angle. I hope you understood this synopsis, which completes the most of the things of a circle described. Now we will go for the next part. Now you see what I said to you. It is already, you read it in 9th class. Now what part of the synopsis I want to say you, it is belonging to the 10th class now. See now, this part is also in the circle. See what is that? Synopsis number 5. Secants of a circle. What is that called? Secants of a circle. It is secants of a circle. What does this mean? Let's read it. If a line intersects the circle in two distinct points, if the line intersects the circle in two distinct points, then it is called as the secant of a circle. So see now, this is a line which is just intersecting the circle in two distinct points. Here is a point, here is the point. Similarly, this line also intersecting the circle in two distinct points. Let it be A, let it be P. Clear? So see, there are a lot of lines I read which is intersecting the circle in two distinct points. These lines are called as the secants of a circle. Very easy to understand. Then what is the note? The number of secants of a circle is infinity. We can draw infinity number of secants to the circles. Infinity number of lines can touch the circle in 2 points. So those are which are touching or intersecting the circle in two distinct points. Those lines are called as the secants of a circle. Very easy to understand what is called as secants of a circle. Now you see another synopsis I said you, that is synopsis number 6. What is that? Tangents of a circle. This is a new word for you now. Secants and tangents. Tangents of a circle. What is the tangent of a circle? A line intersects or touches. Most probably it touches. Don't say intersects. A line which touches the circle exactly at one point is called as the tangent to a circle. So what is a tangent? A line which is just intersecting the circle or touching the circle at one point only. That is called as the tangents of a circle. See now, here I draw the figure for you. See, here is the circle. See the line, see this line, MN line. MN line is just touching the circle at a point. So when we are going to draw the secant or tangent, I am explaining you here now. You see, I am drawing a circle here. I am taking lines now. See, this is my center. I am taking lines, okay, taking lines. But look at this line. Look at this line. Okay. Now these all lines are called as secants. Why? Because it is intersecting the circle in two distinct points. Okay. So a chord can be a secant of the circle, and also the biggest secant is the diameter. Okay. But see this line, the below line I am just showing to you. This line is just touching the circle or intersecting the circle, approximately intersecting. That means touching the circle at one point. So this line is called as the tangents of a circle. Tangents of a circle. I hope you understood it. A line that intersects or touches the circle exactly at one point is called as the tangent to a circle. Is called exactly one point is called as the tangent to the circle. Clear? And seconds in two distinct points. If the line intersects in two distinct points, it is called as the secant of a circle. So how many seconds can be possible to a circle? There are infinity seconds can be possible for a circle we can draw. Understood now? Now come to the point. There is some note given for the tangents of a circle. That means the tangent is satisfying these properties. The tangent of a circle satisfying these properties. Remember, we can draw only one tangent at one point. If it is a one point, given point, only one tangent is possible through that point. Clear? Understood? Next, the number of tangents to a circle are infinity. With infinity number of tangents can be possible because a circle is called as the set of points. Here I can draw a tangent, here I can draw a tangent, here I can draw a tangent, here I can draw a tangent. Like this, infinity numbers of tangents are possible for a circle. Okay, so now this is the most important point. According to this point, one theorem is there for you. That is, the radius is always perpendicular to the tangent. If you draw the radius to the tangent, see now the radius, this is radius O to A. It is touching O center. Center is touching to the intersection point of the tangent. That means touching point of the tangent OA. What is OA called as? Radius of the circle. Now this radius you see to the tangent, it is creating 90 degree here. That means OA is perpendicular to MN. That means always the radius of a circle is perpendicular to the tangent. I hope you understood. So these three are the properties of the tangent. That means again I am saying you can draw only one tangent at one point, one tangent can be drawn, and the number of tangents to a circle are infinity. We can draw many tangents to a circle, infinity number of tangents can be drawn. Then the radius is always perpendicular to the tangent, where if you are drawing a radius to the tangent, compulsory that radius will be perpendicular to the tangent. According to that, one theorem is that it will be explained to you in the next part. You see now the seconds of a circle. What is the seconds? If a line intersects in two distinct points if the line is intersecting, then that is called as a secant of a circle. That means you can draw infinity seconds to a circle, infinity seconds. That means that is the note, the number of seconds of a circle is infinity. Then a tangent which is touching the circle at exactly one point. That through one point, one tangent is possible. And like that, infinity tangents can be drawn to a circle, and the radius is always perpendicular to the tangent. This is the two new words came in the 10th class again. The all other things I said, that is belonging to 9th class for a circle to remind, and these two new things are also joined. According to that, right now there is a theorem for you. I am going to explain about the circle theorems. I hope you understood these seconds and the tangents to a circle. The next part is, now come to the next part. Next part is a theorem. That theorem, just right now I said you, the radius is always perpendicular to the tangent. The radius is always perpendicular to the tangent. In synopsis I said you, now we are going to prove that theorem. This is the first theorem for the circle. So what is the statement? The tangent at any point of a circle, the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius. This tangent, this radius is always perpendicular to the tangent through the point of contact. The radius contact is at point P, tangent contact is at point P. So first of all, we wrote the statement, then we go for the figure. What is the figure? The figure is, there is a circle and this xy tangent is touching the circle at the P point, and there is the center of the circle. From center, the line drawn, that is called the radius of the circle, that is OP. And after that, we have to prove right now this OP is perpendicular to XY. OP must be perpendicular to XY, that is our proof. Next, you see what I did, a construction is there in dotted line, it was shown to you. You are just taking a point Q outside the circle on the tangent. On the tangent outside the circle, you are taking a point Q and you are joining OQ. That is the construction. Now you say we are going to do the proof. What is the proof? This proof we have to assume wrong statement. That means here we will use the method that assumes that the statement is wrong. This statement is given to you, it is wrong. What is the statement is given to you? The radius will be perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. So we are not going to assume that statement. We are thinking that, we are observing that, and we are assuming that this the statement is wrong now. So what you are assuming now? Thus we will suppose OP is not perpendicular to XY. Now it is saying radius is perpendicular to tangent. You are saying that this statement is wrong and you are assuming yourself some other thing. What is that? That is, you are assuming OP is not perpendicular to XY. You are assuming this is not perpendicular to this. Some other line, this line is not perpendicular to this tangent. Some other line will be perpendicular to tangent. You are assuming now. Okay. Next, what you did? Take a point Q. You are taking a point Q on XY other than P. On XY other than P. Other than P, you are taking a point Q on XY. XY means the tangent. You are taking the point and join OQ. You are joining O to Q. Then the point Q must lie outside the circle. This point Q must lie outside the circle, because if you lie inside the circle, see what will happen. You are taking like this. So this point Q, if it is coming here, then compulsory the line will be not this. The line with the point of contact, this one. The line will be this one. So right now this is XY. What is this line now? It is not a tangent. It is not a tangent. It is a secant to the circle. That one he is saying. The point Q must lie outside. The point Q must lie outside the circle. If it is here, then this line will be like this. Then it is intersecting the circle in two distinct points. So it cannot be called as a tangent now. It will be a secant. So the point Q must lie outside. Otherwise XY will be a secant. Yes, if it is coming here, then definitely the XY line will go like this. Go like this. So it will be a secant to a circle. It will not called as a tangent. So for that reason, this Q point must lie outside the circle. The Q point must lie outside the circle. It cannot come on the circle. Okay now? So no, it's so OQ is now what you are observing. See now, O to Q. Definitely it is greater than OP. Yes or no? O to Q is greater than OP. O to Q is greater than OP, and OQ is the longer side than OP. OQ is the longer side than OP. So OQ is greater than OP. You are writing here, that is OQ is greater than OP. So OP is the what? Shortest distance. When this point like this, it is coming here, 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 and here. It is touching. Now this is the shortest distance. Shortest distance are always perpendicular to a line. To a line, the shortest distance is the perpendicular. Okay? For that reason, we are showing OQ is greater than OP. So OP is the shortest distance. For that reason, OP is perpendicular to XY. OP is perpendicular to XY. So now we prove it. But how you start this theorem to prove? You are assuming that the statement is wrong. What is the statement given to you? The statement is given to you, the radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. So what you are assuming? Let OP is not perpendicular to XY. If it is not perpendicular, you are taking another point that is on the tangent, that is called as Q, and joining OQ. And you are observing the OQ distance is definitely greater than the OP distance. So OQ here, it is greater than OP. Then what is OP? OP is the shortest distance. Which is the shortest distance? That is the perpendicular to the given line. So now OP is the shortest distance, and definitely it is perpendicular to this line. What is that? X and Y. So here it is written OP perpendicular to X and Y. Now this theorem is proved. From this theorem we conclude that, what do you conclude? The radius of a circle is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. What is the point of contact here? P. The P point to the radius drawn, that is definitely now perpendicular to the tangent. This is the point we have to prove now. And why I did like this? You got it? If the Q point must be here, then definitely this XY line will go like this. So definitely XY cannot be called as a tangent. It can be called as a secant. For that reason, this Q point definitely remain outside the circle, definitely remain outside the circle, by which a longer distance will be created after joining. Then OQ is greater than OP. Due to OQ is greater than OP, then OP is the shortest distance between these two. So OP is perpendicular to the tangent XY. I hope you understood it. Now come to the next part. Next part is a construction. After this theorem, you have to construct. What type? That is construction of tangent to a circle. You are going to construct a tangent to a circle. So for that, what will happen? You have to, the question will be radius of a circle will be given to you. You have to draw a circle, and according to that, you have to go for a tangent construction to the circle. Suppose the question will be like this: construct a tangent to the circle. Construct a tangent to the circle of radius. Here I am taking 4 centimeter, radius 4 centimeter. Okay, so we have to construct a tangent to the circle at radius 4 centimeter. So first of all, the steps is there. What is the steps now? So the step is draw a circle of center O. Center O. Let the center be the circle is O. Now what you did? You draw a circle of radius 5 centimeter and draw the radius, that is OP. Okay. So draw a circle of center O and mark a point P. A P point mark on the circle anywhere on it. Anywhere means the radius may be here like this. The radius is here like this. So I took like this. The point is P now. So on the circle. So OP is the radius now, and radius is 5 centimeter. You are drawing a circle now. Then what to do? Draw a perpendicular line. Draw a perpendicular line through the point P. Through the point P. Point P. From this point P, we are going to draw a perpendicular. Perpendicular means 90 degree. You know, take a arc 60 degree, then 100 degree, then 60 to 1 mark, 120 to 1 mark. So by which we are getting a point. Join the point through this point and elongate it, enlarge it. By which you will get a line which is touching the circle at point P. This is the required line XY. This is the XY required line. This is the required line to the tangent to a given circle. So this XY is called as the tangent, which is touching the circle at one point. And this radius is touching the point of contact. The radius is always perpendicular. See now, I said you, this is 90 degree. Clear? So this angle is 90 degree. So definitely the radius is making the 90 degree with the tangent. From here it is clear by the construction. I hope you understood this construction. Construct a tangent to the circle of radius 4 centimeter. So here it is, I took 5 centimeter. Here I took 5 centimeter. So please pardon me, write 5 centimeter. So now take a circle of 5 centimeter radius. Then enlarge the radius and give the point P. And the point P you go for a perpendicular. What is that perpendicular? 90 degree, and just join that through P, and you get a line that is XY. That XY line is touching the circle at one point, and that XY line is called as the tangent to the given required circle. Now you can take any radius from your own mind, and also you can draw 2 to 3 figures how to construct the tangent to a circle. It is very, very easy when the point is on the circle. Okay, so it is the tangent construction to the given circle. I hope you understood it. Now come to the concluding part of today's video, that is called as the length of the tangent. How to determine the length of the tangent? If a question is, I am solving it through a question. See now, what is the question? Find the length of the tangent. The length of the tangent is asked to you to a circle with center O and radius 6 centimeter from a point P such that OP equal to 10 centimeter. Let's understand and do the figure first. Find the length of the tangent to a circle with center O and radius 6 centimeter. So 6 centimeter radius you have to draw a circle. So 6 centimeter radius, so I draw a circle here. So what is the radius given? O2, let it be G. O to G, let it be 6 centimeter. O to G, 6 centimeter. Okay. So I draw a circle and point it over O to G, that is 6 centimeter. Don't construct it, just show it roughly. Then from a point P, such that OP will be 10 centimeter. From point O, a P point is outside the circle somewhere distance, where O to P distance is given to you, that is 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter. Okay. So now So this hole is 10 centimeter and your circle is given the radius of 6 centimeter. Then what I did, according to my theorem, this radius will be, I am drawing a tangent to the circle now, see, that is AP. AP is called as the tangent. This is the point of contact and I am just joining the radius again. OA is the radius. OA, OG, these two are radius. So the distance will be same, 6 centimeter. So O to A I joined, and definitely according to our theorem, this radius will create a 90 degree with the tangent. So now OAP, this is a big right angle triangle. Many students will do wrong by thinking that this is hypotenuse. No, in a right angle triangle, this is the largest side, 10 centimeter. Then this is 6 centimeter. This is the perpendicular. This is the perpendicular because it is 90 degree here. So this is the perpendicular, this is the base, and this is the hypotenuse. So what is the Pythagorean theorem? Hypotenuse square, that is OP square, is equal to OA square plus AP square. OA square plus AP square. What is OP? OP is 10. 10 square is OA. What is your OA? 6. 6 square plus AP square, we have to find it. So now 100 plus 6 square is 36. Again I wrote here AP square equal to 100 minus 36, that is equal to 64. Then AP equal to square root of 64, that is 8 centimeter. So A to P now came 8 centimeter. What is your A to P? A to P is called as the tangent of this circle. So many students will be confused here. So where 90 degree is there, that is the base, and this is the perpendicular, this is the hypotenuse. Then apply the Pythagoras theorem. I wrote here tangent AP. AP tangent is perpendicular to the radius at the point of contact A, and then in triangle OAP, right angle triangle. This is a right angle triangle, that is OP square. That means hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus the perpendicular square. Then I got my tangent as 8 centimeter. I hope you understood it. Now this is the concluding part for today's video. Again in the next video, the next part of the circles will be discussed with you. I hope you practiced what you learned today. You please go through your running notes and practice it nicely, by which the study will be easier for you. The math will be easier for you. And I hope you all understood this part of the circle. Thanking you. Take care. Watch for the next video.
How'd you get so